Hello, peeps. Welcome to Sunday Comic Investment Chat. Yes, I did not think that I would have a chat today. I talked about it last week where I said, most likely I will skip the next couple of weeks until the Avengers movie weekend. But there was a few things to talk about this past week that's worth talking in the chat. So here we go. Let's talk about comic investment chat. Welcome for those few that wake up this early. It is 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Um, right off the bat, let's talk about what Kevin Feige talked about as far as the plan for the Fantastic Four and the X-Men that freak out some people. Okay, he talked about how there is no immediate plan in the next 5 years, and some people freaked out as if like it's the end of the earth. Okay, and let me say this: it takes time to make a movie. A lot of people forgot that how long it took for Marvel and Disney to announce. Oh, the sun just came out. You notice a sharp brightness in the room. A lot of people forgot that when Kevin and Disney and Marvel announced Captain Marvel, do you remember? Do you remember when that was? For those that did not remember or can't remember, 2014. Okay, 2014 was when they announced the big announcement of Captain Marvel. How long did it take them to hire actors for that movie, as well as directors and all that stuff? Guess what? The movie came out in 2019. Is that a shocker? So why is it a shocker or disappointment for some people to say, he said no FF movie in the next 5 years? Yeah, not out of the realm of possibility, within reasons, right? Can Marvel and Kevin and Disney announce something in July? Because they have 4 months after the completed merger with Fox. From March to July, in those 3.5 months, will they come up with a solid plan to announce something for the Fantastic Four and the X-Men? Absolutely not out of the realm of possibilities. Hello, Simon Comics. Okay, so people take snippet. YouTube, YouTube takes snippets of what Kevin said in an interview while he was talking about the Avengers movie and say, "Oh my God, Marvel has no plan for Fantastic Four." There's all kind of channels on YouTube blowing up talking about the end of the X-Men. Or stop, just stop already, okay? Because even if Kevin come out in July at San Diego Comic Con and say, here is the new slate after, okay, because they're talking about how Doctor Strange movies, the sequel, Captain Marvel, I'm sure it's gonna have a sequel because it's $1 billion movie, regardless of how much people did not like it, regardless of how it ride the coattail of the Avengers, it doesn't matter. So much nonsense, okay? It's just people. I thought the movie was okay, nothing great, but guess what? Did Ant-Man make a billion? Did Ant-Man make a billion? It did not, so stop it. Okay? You may dislike the movie, that's fine. You, I didn't think the movie was great, that's fine, but to try to justify, oh, it made a billion because it ride the coattail of the Avengers. Guess what? Ant-Man did not make a billion. Enough with the nonsense. People just spout out stuff without even thinking. And if they think for a little bit before they spout it out, they will hear how dumb it can be. I'm just here to bring the logic to the people. Yes, my morning black coffee. Um, so to me, it's not out of the realm. Hello, La Raza. It's not out of the realm of possibility or within reason that in 2 or 3 months, July, Kevin will come out at San Diego Comic Con and said, "Guess what? Here's a big, brand new, grand plan for the next few years." And as I mentioned in the previous chat, a few of them where I talk about, my hunch that the Eternals is gonna have something to do with the origin of the Fantastic Four. That's my hunch. I could be wrong. I could speculate and be completely off the radar, but when is the Eternals movie coming out? For those in the chat room, can you explain to me what they announced? I think 2021, correct? Tell me if I'm wrong. 2020? Okay, Salmon. I think, well, they just start hiring one, right? So far, only one name, one name has been attached to the movie. I thought it was 2021, Simon. I could be wrong, but I'm sure the true police will correct me eventually. You know how this YouTube thing is. People can't stand to hear anyone saying something wrong, moi included. But so they announced something in 20. Eternals was talked about in 2018, correct? And if the movie come out in 2021, that's over 2 years, almost 3 years after. Okay? So is it out of the realm of possibilities that, as I talk about, how they can drop after credit scenes at the end of the Eternals on how whatever happened in that movie created the Fantastic Four in some kind of space station? Not out of the realm of speculation. Okay, so you're talking 2 years down the road that something like that can happen. So you add to that, yeah, 3 more years after that little teaser at the end of the Eternals to see the first FF movie. It's all within the realm of reasoning as far as how things are done. Same thing with the X-Men. I have no idea how they will introduce the X-Men. They could be making a Nova movie too, Simon. There's a lot. Marvel has a lot of things cooking, and they have been holding back until after the Avengers movie. Okay, they intentionally holding back everything because they don't want to spoil, right? They don't want to say, "Oh, we're gonna do this movie, that movie," and then reveal to people that all these characters survive. Not that we don't know, but you know how things are. They don't want to talk about Doctor Strange sequel because they don't want to speculate that he survived, even though they already hire the same director to come back for the sequel. But there are going to be a ton of announcement after the Avengers movie. Okay, Kevin has already talked, and they hinted many times that, you know, if they had a chance, if they had the right to do it, they would have not have Sony release the trailer for Spider-Man because they don't want to spoil that Spider-Man survived, right? So trust me, there will be all kind of announcement after the movie. They intentionally holding back everything they could because they don't want to spoil what is, what can be spoiled from future movies. And the Eternals has nothing to do. The Eternals had nothing to do with what is going on with all the movies that they made. So they can talk about the Eternals all they want. It has absolutely nothing to do with Avengers Endgame. So they can talk about the Eternals, so it's not out of the realm of reasoning. I don't understand how YouTubers can go crazy speculating on all these things when Nothing is out of the ordinary. It's simple. Okay, it's absolutely simple. It's, to me, what can result from all this hubbub, all this freaking out, is potentially some impatient flippers will dump the X-Men 1 and the FF1 because it's not gonna happen in the next 2 years. I'm gonna sell it because there's no money to be made. There will be. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Some people will think that way. Some people is gonna say, I have to wait 5 years to see an FF movie or an X-Men movie. 5? It's over. The end of the world. Time to sell. Sell everything. Nonsense. And if that happened, and I'm pretty sure, as I said, some people would think that way. For those that are waiting to buy X-Men 1 and FF1, keep your ears open, your eyes open, and maybe you can pick up a bargain. Let's hope that Kevin said nothing in July. Can you imagine if Kevin said no X-Men in plan, no FF1, no Fantastic Four movie in plan in July at San Diego Comic-Con? Then that is a time to pounce in on some bargains, because some people can't handle it. They can't handle that there is no movie. Yeah, that's how this hobby is. Dennis, yes, there are plenty of movies being made. If you listen to what I said, you cannot speculate on just because Marvel and Disney are keeping a tight lip on what's going on, because they cannot spoil. I mean, they make a lot of, it's not to say that they have not spoiled something by talking about how they're going to do a Falcon, a Winter Soldier TV series for the streaming channel. They already spoiled that those guys survive, right? But guess what? You know why they had to do something like that? Why did Disney and Marvel had to leak out some stuff like that? It's because billions is at stake with the streaming services. They just announced last week, for those that follow the stock market, and Disney stock, how it jumped to all-time high, is that they are launching their streaming service, and part of that is all kind of contents, new contents. So they can only hold back so much secrets, but at the same time, there are more at stake with the Disney streaming service than you can imagine. Billions. Okay, so spoiling B-level characters surviving like Falcon and Winter Soldier, not a big deal. Okay, so I'm not saying that Marvel and Disney is holding all the secrets. They are leaking some out because they have to do something. They have to include some good stuff into the streaming service as far as what new shows are hitting that. Yeah, so it's a lot of things make sense to me as far as what they are doing. Okay, it just does not make sense to a whole lot of other YouTubers, because freaked out and making YouTube videos on freaking out bring in more views. This common sense chat is not going to bring in more views or subs. This channel just does not do stupid things to bring in more views or sub. Not enough stupid things going on here. Segue into movies. Surprisingly, I think Shazam is going to surprise a lot of people this weekend as far as how well it's doing, because we tried to get tickets. I'm tired of living the same life every day. What's up, Nick? The Daddy said, I'm tired of living the same life every day. My friend, life is great, and however you choose to spice it up, it's all good. Okay, I can't say how other people can make their life better. Can't help them there. Only each person can figure that out. But The reason why I think Shazam is gonna surprise a lot of people, as far as the numbers, the revenue, the tickets, is that we as a family tried to go see that movie yesterday and today. And not that we check every movie theater, every listing, but both time that we look to buy tickets to see the movie, whether it's yesterday or today, those shows are sold out. So it's good. It's a good thing. I do want to see that movie. So maybe next weekend. Maybe next weekend. So next weekend, Anthony does not have school on Friday. His school have a Friday off. I'm not sure the reason why there's no school Friday. It's also his birthday. Yes, Anthony's birthday is next Friday. Big day. So it's just a coincidence that there's no school. So we plan to go see Shazam probably next Friday, right after lunch, after we grab our favorite slice of pizza. And then I will go, we will go see Shazam and give a review. But the fact that it's sold out tell us that ticket sales are going well for Shazam. Word of mouth is going well for Shazam. And the second weekend drop off is not going to be all that big. Not the typical 50% or 60% drop. Usually Hollywood like to see drop less than 50%. That would be awesome. But for a lot of movie, it falls like for an average movie. I think the drop off is between 50 and 55%. 60% drop on the second week after the first week is usually a sign of bad things to come. Okay, like great movie might only drop off 30%. Bad movie might drop off 60% or more. So if you drop off 50%, that tend to be okay. Okay, it's in the realm of not bad. Things are not going to be ugly. If the drop off is worse than 55%, closer to 60%, that's when the executive will say, "Oh no, we got a bomb coming." Hello, Black Key Comics. Ah, Simon Comics say Good Friday and the start of Passover. Perhaps I did not know. I'm not a religious man, so I did not know Easter is here. So I guess that's the reason. Come to think of it, it always been that way down here because when Anthony was young, by young I mean like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, I did take him Easter egg hunting the Friday. Now that I think about it, he has not done that. He has not done Easter egg huntings the last couple of years, but when he was in kindergarten, first grade, those 2 or 3 years, I did take him Easter egg hunting that weekend, and there's no school on that Friday. So, see, old people, memories slipping. Hello, Justin. The daddy did not like Wonder Woman. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. When it comes down to movies, when it comes down to anything, I can't stress enough to people that regardless of its TV, movie, sport team, you name it, whatever you like is fine. Whatever you dislike is fine. Whatever somebody else like or dislike that, what if somebody are on the opposite side of your view on anything, it does not invalidate your feeling. Okay, so if I like Wonder Woman, which I do like the movie, and you hate Wonder Woman, does that mean that it invalidates my view of Wonder Woman? Hell no. To be blunt, don't give a rat ass what you think. But that's how I approach life. I don't care. I think too many people are wrapped up in worrying what other people like or dislike. That's one of my biggest pet peeve with social media is people are addicted to what other people think. It's an addiction to what other people think. And I think that that's the worst way to approach life, because you are not going to be on the right side all the time. Okay, so hello, Sequential Geek. Did you see Hellboy? No, but I will. I have seen both Hellboy movie, even though I heard the review is absolutely horrendous. It's too bad. Okay, it's too bad. I will see it. I will go see it most likely by myself, because I don't think my wife or son is gonna care. And I heard it's very gory, very R-rated, so it's definitely not something for my son Anthony to go see. So if I will see it, it's just not something that we'll go see this weekend or next weekend or the weekend after, because next weekend, well, Friday, this weekend, is going to be reserved for Shazam, and then next weekend is, it's going to be the Avengers. Yeah, no doubt Wonder Woman Gal Gadot is one beautiful woman. Mystic Myth asks, "What's your opinion on Deadpool?" I like Deadpool. I think Deadpool. I think Marvel and Disney recognize how much money it is. Okay, Marvel and Disney is not dumb. Okay, they recognize that Deadpool, those first two movies, cost together, excluding marketing costs. Okay, but as far as the budget to produce the movie, cost somewhere like 200 million, something like that, roughly 200 to 230 million. That's how much it cost for the first two Deadpool movie, and the movie combined made like $1 billion, right? So it made 5 times its budget as far as total combined revenue, brought in 5 times its budget. So it made a lot of money. Okay, in Hollywood, when it comes down to investment return, if the ticket sales double the cost of making a movie, like let's say a movie costs $200 million to make, okay, and the total ticket sales is 400 million, that's a bad sign, a very bad sign, because first of all, give or take a few percentage here and there, because domestic and international sales have a different cut. Okay, the studio, I believe, get a bigger cut in the US, and when it comes down to foreign distribution, they got a less cut because they had to include another middleman. Okay, like you're not gonna show a movie in China and think that you're gonna get the same percentage of the ticket sales the same as you get in California. Okay, the Chinese government is gonna take a cut of that, a much bigger cut than in the US anywhere else. So give or take, okay, there could be a 50% kind of breakdown. So if a movie costs $200 million to make and it bring in $400 million in ticket sales, bad sign, because it, using the formula I give, that means that they got about $200 million, okay, of that ticket sales. But then you have to include in the marketing costs, all of the PR, all of the other stuff that they throw in, all the TV spot, or they end up losing money. Okay, so the formula for Hollywood is not, hey, if the ticket sales double the production cost is a good thing. No, it's the bad thing. It's a sign of failures. Okay, so you don't want, Hollywood does not want to see that. They need to see a triple. Like if a movie costs $100 million to make and the ticket sales is 300 million, that is when they start to see profit. Okay, if a movie is four time, heck yeah, they start to smile ear to ears. Okay, Hollywood producer will start to smile ear to ears when the total revenue is 4 times the cost of making a movie. That's why horror movie is so popular, because when it comes down to production costs, superhero movie can cost 100 million easily. Okay, 100 million is nothing. 150 million is still considered small budget for superhero movies, but a horror movies might cost 20 millions, and it can make 100 million. It can have $100 million in ticket sales easily as far as an average horror movie. So yeah, it's lots of profit in horror movies for sure. Uh, Ronald Crumb said, "I love your video about Mary Severin. Did you make a part two?" Yes, I do. I did. I believe so. I believe there are a two-parter to Marie Severin. James West asked, "How much does Endgame cost?" Good question. Uh, I don't know yet. I don't think we see any kind of number yet until the movie came out. But if I have to guess, maybe 300 million. Is that a bad thing for Disney or Marvel? Not really. You know why? Because the movie is gonna bring in like a billion something, maybe even 2 billion. So even if the production slash marketing cost for Avenger Endgame is 400 million, which is unheard of. Okay, it's gonna bring in 5 times its revenue. Can Endgame do a $2 billion in ticket sales? Absolutely. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be profit, crazy profit. I mean it's not percentage wise it's not going to be like a Deadpool kind of grand slam, okay, because the first Deadpool movie cost like 60 million and it bring in like 600 million or something like that. I don't have the number ready, but it's like 10 times its production cost. So Deadpool was an extremely profitable movie. So yeah, it's they will make tons of money, no doubt about it. And for sure, as Todd Hobeck pointed out, a big problem with Marvel Disney movie is the salary of the cast. I mean, you can't make an Avengers movie with Robert Downey Jr. making 30 million. It's just crazy. Okay, I don't have to be a math genius or an accounting genius to know that there is no way Iron Man can keep being in those big movies because he is just way too expensive. He's the most expensive Marvel character on the big screen. The most, hands down. Heck, his cost is massive, massive. Go School is here. Hello, Go School. And Go School agreed it's going to join the $2 billion club. Yep, I can see it. So, like I said, at the end of the day, if it costs 400 million or even 500 million, if you include in marketing costs and all that, it's not going to be a problem because it's going to make 4 times its production costs and marketing costs. So, when you can make when you can have 4 times the ticket sales. One of the things that I'm constantly trying to correct myself when I talk about movie revenue is you heard me so far. I try not to use the word it made 2 billion, it made a billion. No, when a movie sell tickets for a billion, does not mean the studio get a billion. Okay, that's why I use the term ticket sales. When ticket sales is X amount, they make money because at the end of the day, there's all kind of split between the movie studio and the movie theater. Okay, and then also you gotta put in the expense. When you use the term "I made," somebody made X dollar. Does that mean that's it? Mean it's profit. Okay, for me, being an accountant that I am, I look at the term "made" as profit. So I correct myself constantly to say, do not say the word like this movie made X billion, X 100 million. It didn't made 100 million or X billions. It sold that amount in tickets. As far as what's dropped to the bottom lines of the studio, a lot different, a lot smaller. It's just silly to hear so many people use the word, this movie make $2 billion. It did not make $2 billion. God, I hate that. That's my pet peeve with movie talk everywhere. It's not just YouTube. It's been going on forever on TV when people talk about, oh, Avatar made $2 billion. It did not make $2 billion in profit. It did not. It's stupid. It's how did that language talk get into pop culture as far as it made. Think about it. Think about it. When you sell a house, let's say you bought a house for $200,000 and you sold that house for $300,000. Do you go around bragging to your friend, I made $300,000 on that house? You do not say that. No one said that. It's absolutely moronic for pop culture to keep using that term made when it comes down to movie ticket sales. It's not making anything. It's nuts. Holy cow, Joker, Kurt is here. Hello, Kurt. Big Bang series Sheldon made 26 million. Yes, and that's the reason why they canceling the show. Only so much money, regardless of how popular a show is, even like Seinfeld, at the end, or Friends. Okay, at the end, by the last season, when everybody in Friends was making millions per episode, it's over. There is no justification, even if you want to add in, oh, it can run in syndicate and rerun for the next 50 years. Guess what? There's a reason why they cancel and end those shows, because it doesn't matter if they can run in syndicate for the next 50 years. Dollars now matters, okay? Dollars now matter. Let's see, it's 10:03, so I will keep the chat going for a little bit longer. I'm getting hungry. It's almost that time for, me, Sunday, it's about bacon, eggs, and toast. My son is up, and I'm pretty sure he's saying, okay, Dad, it's time to start cooking that bacon. I want to smell that in the air. Yes, Seinfeld still hold up. So as far as investment return, if for those that just jump in and miss on what I talked about before at the early part of the chat, I talk about how the Avengers, how Marvel and Disney are keeping tight lip until after the Avengers movie, and part of that tight lip is talking like there's no Fantastic Four movie in the next 5 years, or X-Men movies in the next 5 years. And even if that is true, as I pointed out in the early part of the chat, it is within reasons, because Captain Marvel was announced in 2014, and let's not forget the movie came out this year. So even if Marvel and Disney said a few weeks ago, back in March, that they don't have any plan yet for the Fantastic Four, guess what? Even if they announce something in July at San Diego Comic-Con, it's not in the realm of impossibility that we won't see the Fantastic Four until 5 years from today. Okay, so it takes time to hire a cast, to bring in directors, have the right story to weave in with the rest of the MCU story so far. Let's segue into the last part of the chat, which is Angelina Jolie. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. What has been announced since her name being announced? There is no immediate casting as Angelina Jolie has been cast in the Eternals movie, and she will play Cersei. I don't believe there is any official words on who she is going to play. Okay? Of course, the internet is going bonkers. Okay? Bonkers on Cersei this, Cersei that. Here is my 2 cents on who Angelina Jolie can play. Whoever it is not going to be around long or around that much. You have to understand part of the cost of the movie is the big star name. Think about the big star that they brought in. Cate Blanchett, A-level Oscar-winning actress. Guess what? Is Hella in more than one movie? How about Anthony Hopkins? Odin. Barely in a few scenes in the few Thor's movie. Barely. And he's dead. Gone. A-level character. A-level actor. Oscar-winning actor. Okay, so whatever you want to attach Angelina Jolie, she's not Oscar-winning, but she's big name. Okay? And big name equal big cost equal star power. She lead movie. She does not appear as a secondary character that's gonna shrink out for 10 movies. No, she's not. So whoever she will be cast as, my prediction is it's gonna be a short run. Whatever that character is, I don't know. Okay, so I just want to throw out some common sense in the land of YouTube because everyone is gaga goo goo and speculating on Cersei this and Cersei that. Think about what happened to all the big names in all of Marvel movies. Okay. Before people jump on me, oh, how about Douglas? How about Michelle Pfeiffer? They are not big name. They are not in any level like Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is very relevant today. Michelle Pfeiffer, I love Michelle Pfeiffer, but really, what has she done? Michael Douglas, what has he done? Right? So it's not as if like, yeah, they old name, they are recognized name, but they're not the Anthony Hopkins or Cate Blanchett of the world. So they can be around. They can be around for a few movies. They're not busy. They're not in high demand. So it's it's cringing to me. I have way too much common sense to sit there and listen to all the speculation and hype and all that stuff and just like, it's just nonsense, a whole lot of nonsense. But I would be curious to see who else they cast, because I have been saying for a long time that Marvel have a long plan, okay, a long plan for many of their stories, so they tend to like to hire younger people. That's how Brie Larson got her job over many other actresses that may have been better fit for the role right now. Okay, I'm sure I don't need to name the dozens of names that people have thrown out for Captain Marvel over the past 5 years. Bottom line is, many of those names are in their 40s. Brie Larson is in her mid-20s. So if she's gonna be the head, the face of the MCU for the next 10 years, it works. Okay, it's sexist. It's wrong. I'm sure the PC police will not like to hear those kind of things, but how can you say that? How can it be okay for Robert Downey Jr., a man in his late 50s, to be the face of the MCU? And how dare you say something like a woman in her 40s can't be the... I talk reality, okay? So like me or not, that's reality. Okay, I love to see it. I love that I can name 5 or 6 other actresses that I think would be a better fit for Captain Marvel, but I'm just telling you what Disney is thinking. And the same thing with the Eternals. If Disney have a grand plan for the Eternals for the next 10 years, I do not see Angelina Jolie in that grand plan to stay around for 10 years in the MCU. Just saying, so a lot of people might disagree, but if I'm right, you will hear it here. And if I'm wrong, you will hear it here as well. You know me, I'm not shy to admit my error or mistakes. James West 130. Yes, Disney is around. I think it hit 130 Friday, and then it back down to 127, 128. I don't know. I have 100 shares. I bought 100 shares of Disney many years ago. At one point, I had a lot more, and I sold most of it at like 127 a few years back when it hit the all-time. Disney went all the way to like 127, 128 ish. Gosh, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and then it ran into a big problem the last 5 or 6 years because of ESPN. How many people cutting the cord, and the cable division was growing less or stop growing, start to lose subscribers, all that stuff. And that's why Disney stock start to drift from like 127, 128 all the way down to like below 100. At one point, Disney stock, if you go back 6 years, was below 100 many times. And only recently that it started to ramp up to the all-time high and broke the all-time high and reached the 130 time frame. Oh yes, Todd Hobeck is doing the eggs and the bacon and the frying pan and the coffee. Absolutely, yes. It's almost that time. I will be gone in a few minutes. No need to run this way too long. But yes, we will go see Shazam. Shazam is on the plate for us next week, Friday, this Friday. And then, of course, we will do a review for that movie as well as the Avengers movie. I am so excited. But you know what else I am more excited about for tonight? Game of Thrones. Yes. You might see a weekly Game of Thrones review starting tomorrow. Okay, because for me, I anticipate the final season of Game of Thrones just as much as the Avengers Endgame. That's how much I love and enjoy the Game of Thrones. So this is the final season. I might have to do a weekly review of each episode because it's gonna be wacky, crazy, insane. It's gonna be so much fun to watch, and I cannot wait until tonight to see it. I mean, I subscribe to HBO for that one reason alone. But yeah, hello, Comic Crack Terrence. Christopher Joy, yes, home fries, absolutely. Yes, Kurt. Yes, Angelina Jolie is, she looked great. Make no mistake, Angelina Jolie is still extremely beautiful. She aged very well. Okay, she aged very well. So I'm not saying that she cannot look great 10 years from now, but from the perspective of a business and financial, there's no way she's gonna be any kind of main characters for the next 10 years and appear in 6 movies and all that stuff. She might sign 2 movie deals or 1 movie deals and one and done. Like I said, there are so many details not available that to me it is absolutely silly for the internet to go nuts and anoint her Cersei. Yeah. For those that speculate on Cersei books, let me say this. You better pray. You better pray she's not Cersei because it's going to be one and done and that book will crash and burn. Do you want that? Do you want to see that book crash and burn? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. I don't know how people are, but for those that like to speculate on movie actors and potential investment return, all that, and that's what this chat is about. The last thing you want to hear is Angelina playing Cersei, and she's gonna be gone in one movie because she's expensive. She's a big name. She's not the kind of actor that will share time. Okay, let me remind people. Kate Blanchett, as great as Hela is, as great as I want Hela to be around a whole lot longer than one movie, one and done. She's in demand. Angelina Jolie is busy. She's making another big movie for Disney coming up, Maleficent 2. Yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff that she's doing. She's a busy woman. She's in high demand. Okay, she's not desperate for work, like the other aging actors in the MCU. But anyhow, I want to cut the chat unless there's any other comments. And for those that saw my for sales video, I will leave. My plan is to leave that video. I'm not going to delete it. I'm just going to leave it there. But in about a week, whatever is not sold, I'm likely to pack it and ship it to Comic Link, just so that just like the last sales I had on YouTube. I think I listed 7 books, and I sold 3. I sold 3 of the 7 slab that I had in the previous YouTube sales, and then I shipped the other 4 to Comic Link after. And I plan to do the same. Whatever is not sold, that's fine. I'm just gonna send it to Comic Link and let them deal with it. Thank you, Black Key. Well, I broke the rule last week when I said no chat next week, and I have a chat today. So it's all depend on what is available to talk about, and I felt a need to talk about the MCU and the FF and the X-Men, all that stuff, because I heard so much nonsense the past couple of days about people freaking out that no FF movie in the next 5 years. Calm the F down, yeah? Calm the F down, but with freak out comes opportunities, okay? Opportunities. So if you want freak out, if you want opportunities, if you are on the sideline waiting to buy FF1 or X-Men 1 or X-Men 94 giant size, you want the freak out. You want people to be like, oh no, ah! You want that, okay? Because you want them to dump those books and get them 10% cheaper. Just saying, okay? Just like in the stock market. I love to see freak out. I love it when I see people dumping stocks and like running scare. You know the old saying about the stock market? You buy when there's blood on the street, okay? You don't buy when everyone is happy, when everyone is bullish. That's the last thing you want to do is buy, okay? And the same thing with us, the comic book investment, okay, or speculation. You want freak out, you want panic, you want dumping. Dumping, what he's talking about. There's always people over leverage themselves. Okay, the sad reality is with regardless if it is a stock market or comic speculation, there's always somebody over leveraging themselves, and the freak out is usually directly related to these people that cannot hold on to their investment long term. They don't have long game. The people that speculate and over leverage themselves, they over leverage themselves for the short game. They have no long game. Okay? So when things does not pan out in 6 months, 6 weeks, the freak out will happen because they over leverage themselves and they need to do the dump. Hello, Milky Bar Kid. My favorite comic is Radioactive Man. I can't say that I even know about Radioactive Man. If I see the cover, I might know or have seen it, but to be honest, I don't have an image of Radioactive Man in my mind right now. Hello, comic book brother. James West said he want his FF1 and he has the patience. Yes, the FF is way too important to rush into anything. There is no need to. I mean, I have heard all kind of speculation on how the FF is going to be introduced, how the X-Men is going to be introduced, and to be honest, if I had to throw in my 2 cents on the speculation, as I said before, the FF is going to be introduced in space somehow, somewhere in the Eternals movies, and the X-Men, I don't know. I don't know how they are going to recon the existence of mutant in the MCU. Is the mutants gonna be something that is the birth of the reversal of the snap? Okay, so maybe, it's not like it's. I don't see how they can. It can't happen. I don't know what Marvel's doing. Okay, I'm not in the camp that mutants already exist for decades and somehow they are not existing in the MCU because they've been hiding, worrying about what people think about them, even though superheroes have been doing all kind of stuff for a decade plus. So I don't know. I don't really have any idea on how they are going to do that, but I buy into the theory that the mutant genes is a byproduct of the reversal of the snap. So I'm not gonna say that I am the one that came up with that concept. I heard it somewhere, see it somewhere on YouTube, and I'm like, that can't happen. I don't know how they can recon Professor X as if like he's been around for 50 years and stays silent and quiet. Okay, I don't know. Sean Hoklas, he said that he agreed. He hope people dump the FF1 on the market and he can find a cheaper copy. Hey, yes. Yes, DD1 is usually the most. What is more affordable than Daredevil 1? Would you say Strange Tale 110 is cheaper for the grade, right? I think so. I haven't checked the value of those books recently, but I think if you look at Daredevil 1 and Strange Tale 110 and Journey into Mystery 83, I think if you look at those three Marvel keys per grade, you might see that I think Strange Tale might be the lowest of the three. I could be wrong. For those that have GPA up and running, you can check right away. But for me, I think Strange Tale 110 is the cheapest of the Marvel Silver Age keys as far as first characters. Cheaper than Daredevil 1. Todd jump in real quick and said Journey into Mystery is high of the three. I'm not surprised because Thor is much more relevant, much more popular than Daredevil. But I think Doctor Strange is pretty weak. Even with the movie, he's still pretty weak. But I could be wrong. Since Todd might have GPA up and running, he might be able to jump in real quick and give the definitive answer before I sign off. But I believe so, Terrence. If you're looking for first Doctor Strange appearances, you might be able to. You might be able to find a copy of Strange Tale 110 cheaper than anything else. Hello, who that? You just came in just at the end. I'm ready to say goodbye to everybody and go eat my bacon and eggs. Well, I gotta make my bacon and eggs first before I can eat it. But it's Sunday time. It's time to eat breakfast or brunch. Brunch. Anyhow, thank you everyone. For sure, there will not be a chat next week. I said it last week and then I have a chat today. But for sure. for sure, I will not have a chat next week, the week after. Until next week, until the week after, until I see the Avengers Endgame. Bye bye. Have a good Sunday, people. Bye bye.